It is the P and P podcast.
Here we go.
We are live.
We are live. Imagine this. You know what? You know what's amazing? Because let's say 75 to 80 episodes ago of the Union 0430, we met you. And Dave, my business partner, Dave reached out, and he always calls it a Hail Mary. He reached out to you to say, hey, listen, would you like to come on this crazy podcast that we're doing? And of course you accepted, and we've built a pretty good relationship ever since. And I consider you a good friend. And Agreed. Now here we are, both of us doing
episode one
of the P and P podcast. And we'll let you figure out what P and P stands for.
So yeah, like I said, I wasn't sure was I supposed to wear my Punisher shirt or you? I mean, you have it on too. So I mean, I just wasn't sure which one I should wear.
It's pretty funny that you're wearing Punisher and I'm wearing Pitboss.
I need a flag. When is the Punisher flags coming out?
Well, we'll get right on that.
All right,
we'll get right on that.
They're easy to do.
Yeah, they are. Well, I'm thinking when Pitboss Waterfowl headquarters gets done and you get that studio effect that you're planning, having that nice Punisher flag in the background would look good. But
100%. I told Karen that's one of the first things I want to do is I want to have, and I need to, in my mind, I think I know how it's going to be, but I need to see it first. But I envision centered up a oversized, a bigger 3x5 is the normal size. I'm looking at the flagpole to my right. 3x5, so whatever the next size flag would be. But have you United States flag, Canada flag, and Australia flag, so we cover everybody.
Yeah, that's cool. That would look cool.
I mean, right here, that's kind of what I have set up there on the little ones. Is US, Australia, and Canada. So.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
I can't wait, man. I think I'm just as that's probably a little bit of a reach, but I'm pretty excited about Pitboss Waterfowl headquarters. I'm not going to lie. I can't wait to see this thing.
Thank you. It keeps. Can't say that it's spiraling. Can't speak. And it is. If you follow along with me, and I told Karen, I said it's going to be a good thing because it's going to be Diet Dew this morning and not Crown Black. So
yeah, I'm rocking just some black coffee. So in case anybody
spiraling out of control, that's what I'm saying. It's not this thing just kind of keeps getting bigger, keeps evolving, and it just keeps getting bigger.
Well, before you better get this nailed down and get ground broke, because before long you're going to have the pyramid of the original what is Bass Pro. They've got that big pyramid, Memphis. Yeah. So if you soon don't break ground and get the walls stuck, it's going to continue to evolve, and God knows how big you're going to have.
100%. I was actually just about 20 minutes ago, I was on the phone with the architect again. So,
okay.
I do want to point out, probably not the best to be doing that, but I'm going old school with my old blue. I can't remember.
Yeti blue.
Well, it is called
Snowball, isn't it?
That's what it is. The blue Snowball. And I used to use this way back in the day. I attempted to did it for quite a while. Blog talk radio. So I did, and I went back last couple of months, I went back and tried to find, I can't get all the episodes because it's been so long ago, but some of these were, it was like 8-9 years ago, and some of the people I had on are not with us anymore, and I regret not saving it somehow. And I guess I just figured it would be there, and it should be there, and it would be there, and all the episodes are not there. But anyway, I thought I'd break it out and see how good it works.
Well, the sound was coming through awesome. So I really like it. For the younger generation, Jeff is coming to us in stereo. And I know you guys probably don't. Anybody that's under the age of 30, I would think, have no idea what I'm talking about. But Jeff's coming to us in stereo this morning. So
I can't hear myself, but I hope I'll take your word for it that it sounded good.
Yeah.
Do me a favor. tell everyone, where are you currently right this minute?
So right now I'm living just outside of Kingston, Ontario. So just across Lake Ontario from upstate New York. From the border, I'm 30 minutes from the border. So anybody and I remember listening to you and Karen talk about it on your last podcast, like Cape Vincent,
yes.
Which is right across from us, right? Like it's that very narrow section of the St. Lawrence River where it meets up with Lake Ontario. So I'm sort of kind of in that area. So to our friends to the south in the U.S., don't go thinking I'm living in an igloo way up north or something like that. I'm just right across the border from you guys.
Very, very close to David Waugh, right?
Yeah. So actually, I had hunted with Dave.
That's a joke. That's a joke.
Dave Waugh, Dave Roy.
Yeah, Dave Roy.
I hunted with David and his crew just this past March. We had the boys from First Light come up. They came up and tested some of their new waterfowl gear, which will be dropping sometime this month. So, anyways, yeah, pretty cool. I'm real close to Dave Roy, and then everybody knows where you are.
I've chosen the outdoor studio again.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, I talked to Steve Hoover this morning too, but I'm looking at the world's largest duck boat sitting on the lift. And I told Karen the other day, I will miss the water 100%, but that's about the only negative thing with moving over to PBHQ, because just Pitboss World headquarters will be the future. So it's going to be better for everything, except, I'm going to miss the water. I'm not going to have a boat lift. And in the wintertime, no buffalohead are going to be showing up in our backyard over there. So I will miss the buffalohead, but change is change. So time to move on and evolve. So,
well, and that's, good point. It's time to move and it's time to evolve, but it's also like, that's I don't want to use the word scary, because maybe that's too big of a word, but it's always nerve-wracking stepping into the unknown.
100%, man. It's good.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's that kind of thing where, like, if I wake up at 3 in the morning, which I always wake up early, and if I have the wrong thought in my mind, I'm done, man. I need to get out of bed, because it's if I start thinking about money, or if I start thinking about what needs to be done next, or if it's more about thinking about money, honestly.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's what makes the world go around, buddy.
100%. Little community of Ocean Pines right outside Ocean City, Maryland. So look, Maryland's Lower Eastern Shore.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So listen, we got to get into this, and this is the idea that I have, and everybody, this is not scripted. This is just Jeff and I throwing stuff at one another as we go here. But I really thought that today would be a really good. Yeah.
I did try to make a few notes to kind of keep myself in on topic. Good. I'm sorry. Interrupt.
No, it's all good. I thought it would be cool, Jeff, because you're such a big personality. And I know there's a ton of people out there that know, bits and pieces of your story and your beginnings up to where you are now. And I think there's a lot of people that would love to be able to piece everything together, because And the reason why I like to do this sort of thing is because I find people, be it fans or people that listen or follow you or whatever word you want to use, I sometimes feel that people look at you and go, "Oh man," and I say you, but whoever, and they go, "Oh man, like look at that, that's the life." Like, and it is a great life. But it didn't happen overnight, and it didn't come without some sacrifices and some gambles and mistakes, right? So, 100%. So I thought, it'd be cool if we dive into Mr. Jeff Coates prior to becoming Captain Jeff Coates, before Pitboss Waterfowl, and try and line that all up together and give people a better understanding of you. So my first question to you is 25-year-old Jeff Coates.
25-year-old Jeff Coates was married already. Got married very young. So yeah, my first marriage. So anyone younger out there listening, man, I'd advise you maybe to push that off I'm not against relationships, but I like to tell people it took me 45 years to find my best friend in my second wife, Karen. Mm-hmm. So maybe a little jumped into it a little bit more sooner, maybe what I should have. But I kind of was talking to somebody else the other day about this, that I kind of feel, and maybe, not the US and Canada would be the same way, but like I believe, especially through schooling it's about socializing us, right? And I didn't understand that at the time. Mm-hmm. I think I understand it better now, but at the time going through it, I didn't understand that basically, like, you're supposed to go to school, graduate high school, go to college, graduate college with a degree, and go get your job and get married and have kids and go live in your, go find your development, the house that you're going to live in. And that's kind of,
white picket fence.
Yeah. I mean, like, the neighborhood I grew up in, not everybody, the majority of the people all worked at Aberdeen Proving Ground, they worked for the federal government. And it just kind of was just kind of the way that you were brought up. And high school, I was very quiet in high school, honestly. I loved to play football. I was into lifting weights. Wanted to go play University of Southern California, and I was not big enough and too slow to do that. Had a little junior college football, but just kind of moved on very quickly. Honestly, I got a job and started making money. And what I like to tell people was after my first semester of college, junior college, I was on academic probation. And after the second semester, I was academically suspended because I was getting paid cash, man. And I went and worked, and I was working 10 and 12 hours a day and building up the bank account. And I was heavily into drag racing. I had a 1970 Chevelle Super Sport. I won Super Chevy Sunday in 1992. And so I kind of ended my, I still had the car, but I kind of ended my, I'm going to say my interest in drag racing, because, man, I find myself today on YouTube, man, I'm watching all kinds of drag racing these days. But I just, it's like I like to say that was another life, and kind of like the first marriage, that was another life. And, and until my daughter Molly was a very positive thing that came out of that first marriage. But until I got divorced and got out of that mindset of, like, to try to, in my opinion, the mindset of falling into line and doing what everybody else does, it took me that till I was, I don't even know what age I would have been there, but got married in 88. And by 94, I kind of moved on. So 94, 95, 96 were transition years for me. And I guess kind of broke out of, I won't say my shell, but I just went and did what I wanted to do, kind of thing. Met Donald Hughes in that process. And then Donald Hughes is, I would say, Pitboss Waterfowl, me sitting here right now, and I say this quite often, is that if I didn't meet Donald Hughes, we wouldn't be talking right now, kind of thing. So Donald was just very influential.
And for anybody that's listening, that has listened to the Union podcast in the past, you've brought up Donald Hughes, but, like, Donald was, like, he was before his time.
Oh, 100%.
Like, 100%. I remember you telling me that he's the guy that said to you, this internet thing, this is going to be huge.
It's what you got to learn, man. This is the future right here. I'd go over to his home in Rhodesdale, right on the Marshy Hope Creek over in Dorchester County, very near Cambridge, and an old desk computer. The tower was all taken apart, and, like, but he'd be talking around the world to people, kind of thing, and I said, well, what's that cost? He's like, it's free. Like, what do you mean it's free? Obviously your internet service was not, but he taught me the internet, man. And then he told me that he said it would be a double-edged sword, because to promote myself, it's what I'm going to need to use. At the same time, when you're promoting yourself, you're putting yourself out there to the world, and there's going to be other people that want to do what you do. So he's you need it to promote yourself, but at the same time, you just you have to know that you're going to be attracting other people to wanting to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, man, met Donald. We fun hunted a lot together. He says, and I say this all the time, that he was full of useless knowledge that I appreciated his useless knowledge, because I soaked it up. And yeah, man, kicked me off. we were snow goose hunting Bombay Hook, Delaware one day, and he planted the seed about guiding. And by 1999, I was guiding full time, and Donald, he got to see in my duck boat progression. He hunted out of the 17 TDB with me quite a bit, and then he did get to see the first year that I got the Banks boat, picked it up October 16th of 2004, and November 14th, 2004, Donald passed away. So he did get to see it, and he got to see, kind of got to see a little bit of my progression and moving forward. But yeah, I think about
how old were you then, Jeff? Like when in 99, when you started guiding?
Let me see. I'm gonna have to do the math, man. 85, 95. I would have been 34.
34.
Yeah.
So
I'm old, man.
Well, you're not old. You're as old as what you think you are, in my opinion. I'm 45, and I still think I'm 20. So, 35, you said, right?
Yes.
35 years old.
34
years old. 34 years old. Given where you live and a rich history of that sea duck hunting in that area. And I don't want to take anything away from any other place in the States or in North America that has a huge history of duck hunting. But your area, that Chesapeake Bay area, that North Atlantic, off the eastern seaboard, like it's like there's been dogs bred purposely to hunt that water. Do you know what I mean? So for you to at the age of 34 to say, this is what I'm going to do, not to get too much into it, Jeff, but you had to be like, okay, this is a gamble. Is this the right decision?
Yeah. So I didn't, and it's going to sound weird, but this is the truth, or this is going to sound like I'm not being honest, but like, I don't know today, sitting back, looking back, I don't know that I set out to be sitting here today. Like that wasn't
right.
Wasn't really,
it
wasn't my goal. It was just, I guess my biggest question was, could I guide full time and make a living from guiding? So I don't think, I didn't look at it as necessarily a gamble, because I'm going to be able to go do something. If it fails and it doesn't work out, I'm going to go off, not do what I was doing before, but yeah, I'm going to go off and I'm going to be doing something that I'm self-employed. That, I guess, trying to break, I'm going to say the mold, but to get out of that being what I was talking about, socialized before, right? To get away from that, I was going to be self-employed doing something. And that being self-employed is what helped me be able to guide full-time, where I was refinishing furniture. I could rewind it a little bit and say, in my first marriage, we did have a family business, and it was stripping, removing paint, woodworking, and refinishing. So I had a good working relationship with a fellow that was kind of Tom Trahan. He called himself the refinisher, and basically he needed help, and he would pay. He paid everybody piecework. So you got paid X amount of dollars for doing the job, and whether if you wanted to work all night long on it, if you didn't want to show up during the day, he didn't care, just as long as the items got done. And he, especially with my visitation with Molly when she was very young, basically I took a day off a week to before she was in school to spend time with her. And then once September rolled around, it gave me a lot of time to go and hunt and do what I wanted to do, and try to progress and try to guide full time. And it was, I guess, negatively to him, eventually I just basically quit. But he gave me the latitude to work when I wanted to work, and I would go try to hunt as much as I could hunt. And if I did not have anybody to take, I'd go refinish some furniture, get some money there. And then, but after guiding for a couple of years, it was pretty easy to do it full time. And back then it was 107-day season. So there was a lot of days in there that I did not book, but basically from the beginning of October to the end of January, the special sea duck season was open.
Wow. So would you say, and I think I know the answer to this, But would you say that you've always had that entrepreneurial like goal? And goal could be the wrong word, but have you always wanted to be your own boss?
No.
And
that's what I'm saying. Like going in high school and
right,
and even college, like it was like I felt, again, I didn't see it then, but hindsight, I feel like I was how I was socialized. That's the path that I was taking.
right.
And being self-employed, working for yourself that wasn't the message, or that wasn't the theme. Looking back at it.
Yeah.
Looking back at it. And the other thing is I have a really strong relationship with Molly's Sporting Goods, right? Molly's Place. And I do multiple radio commercials for them now. I've been doing them for, I guess, the last 5 years or so. And a lot of those commercials get played where I grew up, and people like, man, he was so quiet in high school. Like he didn't even say a word. And they'll tell Chicky that, like, what did you do to him that he's fuel your adventure? Like it just kind of, I was not like that. I truly, truly was not like that.
That's amazing.
I can tell you there's a turning point, and I know you reel me back in. There was a turning point the first year, the first season that we did the D3 Ducks, Dogs, and Decoys TV, the DVD series. I had this damn little microphone like taped to my ear, and like I didn't know how to act. I truly didn't. Like and I say it to this day. Like I think Deadliest Catch is probably one of the best ones. But when you put a camera in somebody's face, this is who they are. Put a camera in, they either go down here like I don't like that camera in my face.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable, or
they go like get wild and crazy, right? So it's kind of. But my first, are you with us?
Yeah.
Okay, your video has frozen up there a little bit. There you go. Oh. Now you're moving again. All right, cool. So yeah, it's up or down, right? And we filmed that whole first season, and I just wasn't sure. A good friend in common who was Elite Archery, I believe, Peter Crawford, I think it was Elite Archery. He watched the video, and he knew me at arm's length, but had been around, hung out with me and stuff. And he's like, Jeff, man, like what I just watched in this video, that's not you. He's like, that's not who you are. I said, yeah, I just don't want to. I just don't want to come across being like an idiot, like stupid.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're not going to. He says, before every time, take a deep breath, and he says, just elevate yourself a little bit, be a little more animated, maybe like out of your comfort zone, but you're going to come across as being who you really are. And so I have him to thank. That would have been in 2005, 2006. So since then, like if anything, maybe it's gotten a little crazier. but I like to have fun, man. So that's what it's really turned into. And I always tell people, I don't know that I'll be here next week. I want to be here next week, but there's no guarantee. So I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And I think I personally feel you show that, like, because, and so Geoff and we've joked about it many times where we've said Jeff's always got his camera, and he's always videoing and stuff. And you show that, like you and Karen, be it if you're cooking something on the grill, if you guys are out on the beach with the dogs, no matter what you guys do, you're having fun.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no.
That is the official Pit Boss ringtones available on iTunes.
Nice plug. Nice plug. We got to hear that ringtone again, because I didn't hear it.
Okay, let me get out of that. It truly is. Let me see. It may take me a second to get there. Sounds. Here we go. So it's surf scoter taking off in the beginning, and then it turns into, that's a Drake Old Squaw.
Okay.
That's a Drake Old Squaw. So
there you go. So you can buy that ringtone on iTunes.
Yeah, a friend put it up there for me. he would punch me right now. I can't think of his first name.
That happens to me all the time, buddy.
Man, my mind. And I'm not. And again, man, there's no Crown Black involved. Anyway, it's American Waterfowl Systems.
Oh,
Anthony,
yeah, that's Anthony
Smith.
Smith.
Smith. Yeah, I wanted to say Andrew Smith. It's Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith. Yes. Yeah, he put that up there. I made the ringtone. He put it up there for me. I don't know how many years it's been up there, but yeah, I kind of. It used to be. I just turned it in my regular ringtone, but I would kind of use it for a couple people, and things changed up, so now I just use it all together. But where are we at, man?
Well, I was just going to add this. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, and if you're a fan of chaos, then stick with this podcast, because we're going to be all over the place. I'm a scattered brain, and you can see that Jeff and between the both of us, it takes nothing to put us off topic. So, so I think where we're at around 2004, 2006, somewhere in around there.
You were talking about you and Geoff saying we like basically we document pretty much everything we do. And Karen in the beginning, much like I said, probably in 2005, 2006, wasn't really understanding or wasn't on board. She in the beginning was like that, but now, she gets and understands me. So she plays along pretty good with it. So 2004, go.
Yeah. So 2004, you're Donald Hughes is talking you into becoming a guide. This plays in with your schedule that you have with the finish, finishing the furniture and stuff. And now you're really trying to get it in your head. Listen, can I make a living guiding full time? And that's my job. So
100%. A very good friend, Scott Moody Photography, Labrador Designs. Scott made the logo that's on your flag. That was Scott's idea. Scott made, I made my first webpage on my own, and then Scott really helped refine it and tweak it. But Scott said, Jeff, you're out, you're on the water every day. Why? And I was taking pictures, trying to take pictures then. He's like, why don't you Scott's the one that got me into digital SLR cameras. Right. And he's like, you could be taking like literally magazine cover photos. He says, you got the opportunity. You're out there every day. I'm not shooting a gun. I was shooting a still camera, and I said, Scott, I don't know how to use this thing. He says, you buy it. And he says, I will teach you. So I always jokingly say, each camera that I bought, I throw the manual away, and Scott Moody was my manual, because I'd say, Scott, how do you do this? But so the photography took off pretty good. And back in the day, there were not that many DSLR cameras out there, and the smartphones weren't out, right? So the people that were taking pictures were kind of few and far between. So I think photography really kind of helped me, get my name out there. Probably one of the neatest photos that I have. Field and Stream actually used it, said it was probably more incredible than a live picture of Bigfoot. I think it was the way he captured it, but Drake Surf Scoter framed up perfectly. And it's like the split second before the shot is going to hit, the shot's in focus, the bird's in focus, but the bird's still alive. So there wasn't anything graphic about it. It's all, the bird, we all know what's going to happen. But at that moment that I captured, the bird was still very much alive. And so that picture got a lot of run and went a lot of places, which kind of helped me meet Tom Matthews, Avery Outdoors. So then I kind of went into the promotional staff world kind of thing, and opened up the door with Fred Zink and Zink Calls. I met a lot of people. It's where I met Paulie, man. Yeah. Paulie doesn't pay retail. That's where I met Paulie.
Yeah.
So,
big shout out to Maggie's Pub.
Hoping, exactly.
We'll get to share some drinks there real soon. 100%. Sorry, I cut you off, buddy.
No. I'm just saying that, but that's, some of these friendships way back in the day, man, especially with technology, man, it's just so easy to keep up with everybody now. So, maybe then it was not as easy. But sure is easy. Well, I guess that too, if you think back, before Facebook and before texting and the smartphones, these message boards were really a big deal. So you kind of kept up with everybody through the message boards, right? Yeah,
those forums, yes. which were such a big deal. for anybody that's listening to this, so if you're of our generation, you're sort of snickering because you're like, oh yeah, remember when we had dial up and all that bull. And then we've got the younger generation that are like, nobody was taking pictures. But you got to remember that before the DSLR, that really it was just the photography fanatics that were out and sitting in a marsh all day long trying to get that magic shot, right? But once the invention of the DSLR, well, you could take 1 million pictures in a day, and it didn't take up. It took no time to bring them out. You didn't have to go to Walmart to get your photos developed or anything like that. So the technology, that's the impressive thing is how you've evolved with technology as evolved.
Thank you. I mean, I do. I always say, I don't always say it, but I do say the line of like staying ahead of the curve, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we can rewind a second, you just brought up some really good memories. I'm going to tie in back to Donald Hughes. Before Scott Moody, before the DSLRs, I was shooting film. So you're sitting there shooting these pictures. You go get, back then, 2-day was development of this film was fast. Not like you can, I mean, I guess people, you can go in an hour now. If somebody's still using film, you can go and get them developed in an hour. Back then it was 2 days. So you get the picture. Now you get the picture. What are you going to do with it? Donald Hughes, Jeff, this is a scanner. This is how you scan a picture. Now you digitize it and it's a file on your computer. Okay, what am I going to do with it? Now you have to go load it up to a server. You have to use FTP to load it to a server. What's that mean? Well, now the digital picture has an address out on the web somewhere. All right, what do I do with that? He says, you need to learn HTML code. And this is what HTML code is. And you did the code, you had the address where the picture was, and you plugged it in, and bam, I'm putting pictures up on these talk forums. Before there was a little icon that you hit the picture and it automatically did it for you. You needed to know how to use HTML code. And again, Donald taught me all that. He said, this is how you do it. And again, this is in the mid 1990s. Like, again, it just wasn't, it just wasn't easy. Right. So I'm not I don't speak well. I don't think of myself as being highly educated. I don't write well. I would just post up pictures. You could tell me that you killed, we killed 200 snow geese this morning, right? Well, I don't know about that, but here's a picture of 20 snow geese that we did kill, right? Yeah. It was that kind of thing. Right. But again, like Donald's a very big part of what I am today. 100%. That's amazing. HTML code.
I'm just like, I'm not sure that how much work that took. Like that had to be time exhausting to try and get all of that and to put it out, and then it's on forums. So it's not like today where it's instant and it goes on social media and 10,000 people sees it within an hour. It's going out on forums. Like the chance of being noticed.
Well, that too. You talk about dial-up. If you had bad internet service, like the picture would it'd be a X or a question mark or what is it, or the picture would like slowly, load. You'd see parts and pieces of it as it loaded. So I mean, it's the truth, and the waterfowl world in the big picture is just it's so small.
Oh, it's such a small slice of the pie.
Yeah,
big time.
But yeah, man. So at Avery Outdoors, Zinc calls that helped me a good bit. Donald, like I said, Donald Hughes, and it kind of that all turned into having Ducks, Dogs, and Decoys TV basically. That was probably really the next big step, I guess.
And then so everything's lining up. You're starting to get noticed. You're meeting some pretty influential people within the waterfowling world and stuff like that. And you continue to push the envelope, like you say. You're continually trying to stay ahead of the curve. And I've said this to you a number of times, how I'm envious of the American mindset, where you know what? Listen, this is what I want to do. I'm going to go do it, because that isn't the mindset in Canada. Like, there's people that have that mindset, but it's not generally the mindset of Canadians. We're a little bit more late. I don't want to say laid back and make it sound like you guys are running around crazy or anything, but the American mindset, like, for somebody, how can I make this a lot shorter? Nobody in my neck of the woods is going to buy the world's largest duck boat. That's where I'm getting at, right? And you guys, and you said, you know what? I want a 30-foot boat.
32.
But who's counting? But you know what I mean? And you said, I want a 32-foot boat. And it's a huge boat being towed by a huge truck that has a huge cost tag to it. And you just continued to stay ahead of the curve. And this is a really long-winded way for me to solidify how you're staying ahead of the curve, I guess.
So wanting all this stuff big, it's not, I had to say this. It's not compensating for anything, just because these are size 17, baby.
Yeah. Size 7. If you're listening and not watching this, like, his flip-flops, size 17, no joke. And there's not a whole lot of room left for wiggle room.
So anyway, just with all the big stuff, I don't believe that I'm compensating for anything. Karen doesn't like when I say that, but she's not here, so but she would be right there. That's for sure.
Yeah, she would be.
Get me back on
this is why we're recording at 10:30 in the morning.
100%. So here's the thing. I understand what you just said about maybe the mindset's a little different. I think I'd have to self-diagnose myself. I said self twice there, but I think it's more my messed up personality. I think is what it is, because, like, whatever, I talk to Chicky about this all the time.
Right.
And he's the same way. Like, whatever I'm going to do, I want to do it to the extreme. I want to do it to the nth degree. That's the way it is. Now, it hasn't happened with some aspects of my life, but let's say, like, the drag racing. I said I won Super Chevy Sunday in 1992. I went 7 rounds. I was done drag racing. I accomplished something. I'm good to go. Decoy carving. I used to do contests all the time. You froze.
You're froze up on my end, but you're recording, so I'm hoping that everything is. Yeah.
Now you stuck.
Yeah, it's on my end, buddy. It's good that you're recording.
Good. Decoys. I used to do, and I still love to carve decoys. When we get done here, I'm going to put a paint shirt on, and I'm going to go paint green wing teal. So I still really do enjoy carving. I went and won the 3 best of shows of decoys, and I kind of like, I don't need to do decoy contests anymore, kind of thing, right? So it's sort of kind of like that a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I want to do whatever I'm going to do. I want to try to do it to the fullest, to the best. And again, like, if my mother could hear, she lives with us. My mom lives with us, Cam. If she could hear me, she'd yell over. I say this to justify what I want to do. But again, like, I don't know that I'm going to be here next month. Right. Mm-hmm. So I need to do today because I want to be here next month. Yeah. But there's no guarantee. So, man, like, if Karen is from Australia, she's probably got even more of a wild hair in her than I do. But, you know, if we do say this together, if you keep saying someday you want to do something, you need to make someday happen now. Because, like, if you get someday never gets here. It's always in the future, right? So you need to make that, whatever the future plan, the future goal is, you need to make it happen now.
And for anybody listening, go on wherever you stream your music and get "Someday Never Comes" by CCR and listen to the lyrics on that, because that's something to get your head wrapped around, because you're absolutely right. Someday never comes.
Yeah. If you got to make it happen. And I am going to be the old guy now. And I said this the other day to somebody. I did at 30 years old and younger, I did not understand it. But the older that I get, everything is relative, man. When I turn 50, the end is much closer than the beginning, right? You don't know where the end is, but the end is much closer. And you know, it's not like I'm having a midlife crisis or anything like that, because it's not. This is the way I've been for quite a while, right? But 100%, man, like, the end is much closer than the beginning, and you don't know when that's going to happen. So, and again, maybe I'm not saying go be wild and crazy and foolish, but at the same time, man, you need to do what you want to do, because you don't know. Karen's mom, we talk with her quite a bit, and she calls us kids, but she's like, kids, do what you want to do today, because when you get her age, it's just not, you can't do necessarily what you want to do. So do it now.
When my grandfather turned 55, and you had to know him, he was pretty quick with a remark. He had turned 55, and there was a big family get together and the whole bit. And my aunt looked at him and she said, "Dad," she said, "how does it feel to be middle aged?" And quick, he just looked back. He was like, "Who the F did you ever meet to live to be 110 years old?" and I've always remembered that, right? Because you're right. At the end is closer than the beginning.
And you don't know. So, I mean, again, and when I'm 20, 30, even for, like you said, you think you're still a kid. I can remember in my 40s, like still thinking like being 18 and being a senior in high school didn't seem like it was that long ago.
Yeah.
Today it does. But like in through my, like definitely in my late 30s and into 40s, like it didn't seem like I could relate. Man, high school wasn't that long ago. I could still go do a lot of stuff that I was doing then, now or then. But yeah, man, like it is, you get older every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So now you've gotten into, you've really embraced technology, the internet, the whole bit. We can fast forward a little bit to now where you're out there. You have such a strong following, and this isn't a slight or anything, but like Jeff, I've watched you just do video of you opening up the Pitboss grill, and when you've got people, and you've got like people follow you, and they listen to what you're saying, and you're entertaining and the whole bit. So you've really embraced the whole social media side of things, where you're out there, you're constantly out there, and you're always entertaining people. You're not trying to drive a message down anybody's throat. You're just, I guess, to tie into what we were just talking about, you're just living a good life, right? You're having fun.
Yeah, man, it's about having fun. Karen gets it, understands, and kind of we talk about this often, that we wish we met sooner or younger.
Right.
I said, but who I am today, like maybe, like again, it wouldn't have been the same, right? If you did, when I was what do I want to say? I guess when I was the asshole often kind of thing, that I had to be that then to be what I am now, right? Yeah,
so, of course.
It's just that kind of, like, to go through other relationships and to live life and kind of try to readjust from some of those things that happen to you. It's like that stuff. If it's that stuff. Great example. Going around and filming for D3 TV. Mm-hmm. Maybe not as much for Migration Nation, but definitely D3 TV. We hunted with a lot of guides, and I'm a guide, but I'm being guided, and I'm like, holy moly, man, I can't believe they just did that. Like, that's like, man, like I can't believe that guy just did that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Like, man, I wouldn't have did that, but like, definitely that's something to add to the list of do not do. Right.
Do not do. Yeah.
And the flip side, wow, I never thought of that. That's that I'm going to implement into what I do. I've never thought of that. Right. So, like, and what am I trying to get at? Like, just life experiences, being younger, things that were positive and worked out well, definitely embrace them and try to do more of those, and stuff that didn't work out as well. Like, okay, we can set that one on the side. That's something we don't want to revisit, kind of thing,
Well, and that's growth, right? Like, make mistakes, live
and learn.
Live and learn. Yeah, absolutely. Nothing. Well, unless you're extremely, extremely lucky, things don't just fall into place. It comes from hard work and making mistakes and learning from your mistakes, right? Okay. Embarrassingly, I have no idea how long we've been recording right now.
Well, you know what? I was thinking the same thing. Like, where can I see?
Well, I think we started. I think we hit the record button around 10:28.
Okay.
I think. So we're, I don't know, we're probably 40 minutes into it.
Okay.
I would think. So what I wanted to talk about now, and we no, we should finish on this topic. So okay. Now you're guiding. Now you've done. You've been out there, D3 Migration Nation. You're out there now. You have the world's largest duck boat. You've got your clients, and now and to the point now where you're talking expansion with regards to Pitboss Waterfowl headquarters. So, you know, I looked at your social media the other day, and I noticed so. The 2022 season is completely booked for you right now. And now you're advertising for dates for the 2023 season.
Well, yeah, it partly is that, like, I'll have somebody call me this afternoon thinking that I still have the exact 3 days that they want, that they're still available now. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm sorry. No. So that's why I'm trying to put the, so everybody, so they can stay ahead of the curve, and just putting it out there like, hey, it's let's start thinking about next year, because it's not going to happen this season.
Yeah. So, but that has to be, and I don't know what you consider winning, but that has to be winning, Jeff. Like for you to, if you go back and you look at the history and when you were saying, is this going to be something that I can do full time as a job, to now you're a year out. You're a year out in the taking bookings. Like in my opinion, that's winning when it comes to the guide world. I know a few guides, mostly amateur guides, where it's not the only thing that puts food on their table. But it has to be a good feeling to know that, a year out, people are giving you a call and wanting to chat and look at booking.
100%. Maybe a big factor in me being booked is that I've referenced in the beginning, the special sea duck season was 107 days.
Mm-hmm.
6 years ago, they reduced the special sea duck season from 107 days to 60 days. And next year, there is no special sea duck season. Yeah. It's just going to be the straight 60 days during ducks. But, it was 107 days. In the 107 days, there was a lot of early stuff, a lot of throwaway days. But I would go 90-ish, in the low 90s, upper 80s, low 90s. Wow. So, yeah, I did go into the 60-day season. I did lose some days in there. So there's less days available.
Right.
And again, that's part about with Pitboss World Headquarters, just staying ahead of the curve. I tell people, and again, I'm going to be the old guy, in the Atlantic Flyway, the first year that I duck hunted, the season was a 30-day duck season, 3 birds. And I tell people that, younger people that today, and they're like, what are you talking about? Are you joking? Like, no, it was a 3-bird limit on regular duck season. Atlantic Flyway can be a 30-day season, a 45-day season, or a 60-day season. It's been 60 days for, I don't know, 20 some years, kind of thing. I should know when they changed over, and I don't. My point in that is that I think there's going to be a downward side here somewhere quickly. And just like the special sea ducks, sea duck season, special sea duck season getting canceled, deleted, done away with. Our AP Canada Goose season in Maryland is a 30-day 1-bird limit currently, right? In my lifetime, that AP Canada Goose season, it was closed. There was no Canada Goose hunting during, a migratory bird. The September season was open, but not during the regular season. That was closed. Yeah. So, Brant it was very close to being a 4-bird limit for 60 days, but we had a lot of years it was a 3-bird limit, and it's kind of come back down. It was a 30-day 1-bird season. Right now it's 50 days, 2 birds. But I can envision the Harlequin one bird a season in Washington. That season's closed this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be able to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah. Well, and there is a concern out there too, and the bird population is one thing, and if it's not managed properly, and the whole thing, and then the scientists get involved, and they limit us to how much we can shoot and how often we can shoot and stuff like that. They're doing their job, but there's also this, I'll call it a fear, that the numbers of people that are hunting birds are dropping it just seems like there's this opportunity, and I don't want to be doom and gloom. And I don't know what the timeline is on this, but there is there a threat of hunting birds? I don't know. Is it 50 years from now? But is there a threat of bird hunting? Is that going to be taken away from us because, social pressure, bird population, loss of habitat, all of those things coming together? Is there a fear that bird hunting is going to be taken away? And that could be 50 years from now. Who knows? But,
went into a very detailed conversation with Geoff the other day. I'm not going to mention the podcaster's name, but everybody's listened to his podcast.
Yeah.
He tells me, he says 25 to 30 years, he could see like zero waterfowl hunting. He went on to tell me, and I did not know this fact, during the COVID year, in the federal government tried to get a law in place that it basically would be migratory waterfowl. It would be illegal to transport migratory waterfowl from state to state. And he's like, hey man, his example was, I come shoot scoters with you. I could not legally take them back to Mississippi.
Wow.
And just, we went off on a tangent of just the whole, I don't want to mention names, but there's on YouTube, there's a lot of people doing hunting on YouTube, and he brings up a really good point. Like at the end of that video, like what good? And I told him, I said I can't be a hypocrite because I use YouTube, I use social media to promote myself, right? So I don't want to be the hypocrite, but at the same time I agreed with him, I have to agree that like there's not a whole lot of waterfowl value. That's not really what I want to say, but what value was that production that we just watched? Except for them getting a lot of views. There's two different channels we talked about.
Yeah.
And I was quick to bring up, I was like, but these guys have a big following. And he said, that's the problem. He said, that's the future of waterfowl hunting right there. He's like, the 16 to 18 to 25-year-olds that are like, that's what they live and breathe, that style of waterfowl hunting. He's like, that's not what the big picture, that's not what it's about. And again, it's maybe I'm old, but it's not about killing to me. And the other twist to this is on the Punisher, the roundtable discussions we had, right? What's everybody? What's everybody's it? I'm here to make money.
Yeah,
I am, and I won't be. I'm not trying to. I don't want to be a hypocrite about it. I'm not going to be a hypocrite about it. But my guiding is about me making money, right? 100%. Me going to PEI, that's me fun hunting. Me going wherever, that's about me hunting. That's about having a good time. But when I go do that, it's not about the numbers, right? And I get, it's easy to say, well, Jeff, you've been here, there, wherever. You've shot king eider, you shot harlequin, you've shot all these birds, and I know that it's on people's bucket list and their want list, and they're chasing to shoot everything that's out there. But to rewind, that he says in 25 to 30 years, sadly, that like waterfowl hunting is going to be it's under attack. And hunting all around is under attack, right?
Yeah.
But another shooting yesterday at the in Chicago for the 4th of July parade, right? So
yeah,
just guns in general, it's very. I don't want to be the doom and gloom guy, but I mean, there's a lot of
pressure.
There is a lot of pressure. I'm rambling. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So it's really cool because this was a question that I wanted to sort of kind of ask you, and you sort of kind of played into it perfectly here. So when we were talking about Donald Hughes, and Donald was telling you about the internet and how it's going to be the future, but it has the potential of being a double-edged sword where it can be good and it could have some negative impacts because people are going to try and copy you. And this is where we are today, right? Because listen, look at us. I have a company with my business partner, Dave.
We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that.
Well, we don't on this one, we can for the next one. But we have a business and where we're doing podcasts and we're doing YouTube channels and stuff. We copy somebody, right? We're copying somebody, and now you and I chatted last week, and we're like, we should do a podcast together. We're copying, and someone's going to copy us, and someone's going to copy them, and that's just the way it is because someone's going to have the foresight to say, oh, I can make money at this, and listen. I want to make money too, because I need to make money because my wife will not let me buy more decoys. She will not let me buy new waders because I've got so much stuff, but I want more stuff. And so I guess kind of talking about who you had spoke with and where that person says that's sort of kind of the problem with waterfowling, but I don't know, to steal your line, it's kind of relative, isn't it? Because we want, listen, I want to make money off of doing podcasts and doing all this stuff. I can't really get upset when somebody copies me or they want to do more, right? Because, and I think that's what you're getting at when you're saying, well, I don't want to be a hypocrite.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a very few things. Not to cut you off, but interject.
Yeah, no, good.
There's only a very few things that you can truly be original these days.
That's right.
And there's very, very, very little that you can honestly say that it's your original thought, your original idea. Mm-hmm. And again, I mean, back before technology, before social media, before all these platforms, it was a lot easier to be original, I believe, right?
Yeah.
But it is hard to be original, and it's I'm scrambling for the word exactly, but yeah, I find I guess there's another guy that Sea Ducks very, very close to me, and he's always worried about trying to be not to be me. That right. Basically in his words. And he's like, Jeff, he's like, that's like cooking the soup. That's I can't cook soup because that's what you do. I was like, do whatever, you have permission, whatever. Yeah. Do it, man. Like if that's what you want to do it. Yeah, but I want to be original. And he does like meatball subs or whatever, right? Kind of thing, right? Which is still
which
not
is good.
Yeah. But yeah, like I guess it is, there's only a very few things that you can truly be original, right? And it's just it is what it is. But yes, very, very, very relative, very relative.
Yeah, and I can appreciate what he's saying because I find and even personally, right? Like, yeah, I'm copying an idea. I'm copying what somebody has already done, but I want to be as close to original as I can get, right? So I don't want to copy 100% what somebody else is doing. I want to have my own little thing because. Let's face it, everybody needs a little bit of variety in their life. So if you're listening to the same podcast or watching the same video and stuff like that, I can totally appreciate what your friend was saying, because I would be the exact same thing. If I was on the East Coast, I'd be like, I'm not doing chowder because Jeff does chowder. Yeah. I'm going to do whatever. You know what I mean? So I get that. I totally do.
Yeah, and again, like I say, I do think I am, again, like, not want to be a hypocrite. I am very conscious of trying to be as original as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Again, but there's certain things that you're not going to be original on because it's already been done, right? It's already been done because it. But again, just like podcasts,
yeah,
YouTube videos, social media. I mean, everybody's got access to it. Everybody's doing it, so you can't, like you said, put your little twist, your little tweak to make it your own.
And that's the trick now, right? Like everybody, so there's so much, and I had a conversation yesterday with somebody, and it was fairly big multinational business, right? And we're just talking about things and how they operate and stuff, and they have a department now. Like they have, and I say department, it's like 2 or 3 people, but they have, but that's their goal in life now. They're watching how many likes you get, how many follows you get. Are you different in and it could be the slightest of things, but are you different? You got to be a little bit different. You got to set yourself out. Like, and I would hazard to guess, Jeff, and I'm not an expert on guides in the United States. And Lord knows I don't know them all, but I'd hazard the bet that there's not many that's as entertaining as what you are, right? Because you are an entertainer. When you're out on the boat, you're entertaining. Even the videos where you're lead them, shoot now, and then there's the big laugh, the big belly laugh and stuff like that. That's stuff that people want to see. That's different. It's you see the missed shots where. Or some people just show the kill shot and birds folding. You show the missed shots and the fellas ripping on one another when they miss, and it's just it's killer. And I think that's what the listeners, the people that watch and people that consider themselves fans or interested in this sort of thing, I think that's what they're looking for. They're looking for something different because they don't want to just keep listening to the same stuff over and over and over. And then you've got you and I doing a podcast where both of us love to chat.
Yeah, we love to talk. Good thing.
Yeah, we love to talk.
I do have to rewind. I'll put it this way: if there was a situation where like somebody could come across negatively, like I've never posted up videos to make fun of people. Am I laughing? Sure. But everybody's having a good time doing it.
That's right.
If it is something where somebody was,
offended,
I wouldn't put something up purposely to embarrass somebody. That's what I'm trying to say.
Of course.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do have that, if something, again, I wouldn't want to embarrass anybody, but that's just part of sea duck hunting, man. It's a very social activity, and it's, and again, like it's hard. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying lead them. I'm trying to be the, I won't say the coach, but the cheerleader or whatever you want to say is like, I'm trying to remind you to make sure that you are out in front of the bird.
I've got a confession to make. That's totally the reason why I haven't come down and hunted with you, because I'm afraid I'm going to end up on video of missing birds, and you were telling me to lead them, and it's just you're behind. My thick, I don't think I have an accent, but my thick tongue, a funny little story of that is, here comes this nice bunch of birds in, they're right over the decoys, and I say, lead them, and nobody's shot. I'm like, guys, what's going on? He says, you said leave them. No. I would say no. Or something. He's like, nah. He's like, I really thought you said like leave them. Don't shoot them. Like, no. Lead them, get out in front of them, and it was awesome. But I truly did have that happen one time where I was like, lead them, and they didn't. I was like, why didn't you shoot them, man? They were right there. He's like, you said leave them. So anyway, well, somebody told me one time, always leave the audience wanting more, and I think we're at that 60-minute mark, Jeff. And we're going to leave the audience wanting more. And I'll chime in, and then I'll give the last word to you, Jeff. But this was the very first episode of the PMP podcast, and this is exactly what it's going to be. There's going to be a little bit of scatterbrain. There's going to be us all over the place. There's going to be tangents. And you know what? If you've listened this long, Jeff and I would like to know if you'd be interested in a live episode where you get to chime in 100%. And ask us questions as we're chatting. I'll sort of kind of moderate and watch the questions and stuff like this and try and get everybody answered. But please comment if you would like to see us do a live version. And thanks for watching. I'm going to hand it over to Jeff, and that'll be the last time you hear me chat for this episode. But thank you very much for listening to episode 1. Jeff, to you, buddy.
The P&P podcast, episode number 1. Damien, I really have to say it was your idea. So I do hope it's entertaining. We want it to be entertaining. We'd like this really to grow. Punisher, the Union 0430 Punisher Waterfowl podcast, you guys have got it down. Very structured. I have, in certain areas of my life, I have a lot of structure, and I, sitting down with Karen the other day, I was like, I got the equipment. I'm looking at some of it right here to my left. It's easy to do. I just need to do it. So I am taking inspiration from you on this to try to grow this podcast as well as grow, Karen, I'm going to say Karen and myself's podcast. All that said, if you, the viewer, are watching this on my YouTube account and YouTube channel, if you're not, please subscribe. Please leave any comments down below. And again, I think that I'm good about getting back and answering. And if you are watching on my channel, please go over to the Punisher Waterfowl channel, right? Thumbs up, like, subscribe, questions, thoughts, comments over there. Just be as interactive with us as you possibly can, because we do want this to grow, and we want it to grow. So that's, if you're, we're going to co-mingle, co-produce, and we're going to grow together with this. So
100%. Like I said, surround yourself with good people and good things happen, right?
100%.
So everybody, this was episode 1. Thanks so much. This was fun. Can't wait to do the next one. Until next time, big love.
Yeah, I was going to say you had to end it that way, man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to end it thinking of you, we are.
We are. There you go. Okay.
Awesome.
You had to hit the record button.
Or we could just keep talking. We could just keep recording.
We could. I'm sure people are wondering, these two wing nuts.
All right, I'm going to hit stop recording. Again, thanks for tuning in. It is the P&P podcast.